Now, what could be a distraction is how you handle adversity during the day, okay? Now, adversity, I'm going to give it a definition, is an unwanted outcome. It's something that happens during your day that is a departure away from the ideal scene. You had your plan of how it was going to go. You're going to prospect from 9 to 11, right? You're going to do this. It's going to go exactly the way you want it to, and you get to the office and you have something happen. Now, I'd like to joke and say, out of all the customers we got, one of them is going to be a bozo today. Everybody got a bozo every day, yes or no? Okay, and so for years, or for what period of time, people, me, my team would go, oh my God, I can't believe that person would act like that. Like, I thought he was a good person. I can't believe he called in and acted a fool this morning. I can't believe he won't do this. I thought Adam was a good Christian guy. Now he's acting a fool this morning. Does that make sense? Like, we would just sit there and talk about this bozo award for the day because everybody acts like a bozo some days. Yes or no? Had a guy yesterday get mad about something, and then he came back this morning and said, I'm sorry, I acted like a bozo. You know what I mean? Yesterday, you follow what I'm saying here? So here's my point. That is an adversity. So I just joke around and say, look, they win the bozo award for the day. Let's just keep on moving. When you service a bunch of people, right? How many of you have customer problems right now with the number of people you're servicing? Be honest. You have some customer service issue. Imagine servicing 200,000 people. How many customer service issues would you have with 200,000? Let me ask you a question. Does Amazon have customer service issues from time to time? Yes or no? Of course they do. Does Comcast have customer service issues? Okay, could we start an internet company? Now, here's my point. You look at these problems you have in your company, and if you ever feel bad about your company and the scale, like we work with a lot of mortgage companies, are constantly complaining about what, Brandon? The operations team. They're constantly complaining about, hey, we sold the deal, now the operations team can't do it, now the loan's not closing on time, and they're constantly at battle with each other, okay, constantly. And so I'm like, look, if you, on a bad day, when you think it's all not working right, I want you to read a book called The Everything Store, and it is a book about Amazon. And it shows you the first 10 years of Amazon, when Bezos had the idea for Amazon, to the time that he got it up and going, the first 10 years was a total disaster. And what I mean by disaster was no processes. Like, they were literally packing, Bezos himself was packing the boxes, and they were all, I want you to picture this, they were all on their knees packing boxes every day. Like, you order something online, number one, we have to go buy it. We don't have it in stock. Like in the early days, they didn't keep these big warehouses. Like, you bought something on Amazon, they went down to the store and bought it and then packaged it and then sent it to you. And because he had this investor money going, he didn't mind losing money because he just kept saying, we're going to keep getting better. But he's on the floor packing boxes. And one day he has this idea. He said, you know what, guys, here's what we need. We need knee pads. We got to go down to the store and get us knee pads. And one of his own employees said, no, Jeff, we need packing tables. Like, we need tables that we can stand up and we don't need knee pads. That's how Amazon started. So when I feel bad about my operations or things are not working the way they want, customer service issues, somebody didn't call somebody back like they said they would, I think about one of the highest revenue producing companies ever in Amazon. For the first 10 years, that's what it looked like. Does that make you feel better? So when things happen today, how do you handle them? So when you think about it, you could be the way you handle it. How many of you have somebody in your office when something bad happens, they spend an hour talking about it? Okay, just look around the room. That's a distraction. You didn't get what you wanted today, so you pouted, whined, complained, made excuses, talked about it 7 different times, had 3 different conversations with 3 different employees about them. That is how much time did that cost you? So I want to stop right here and look at the bottom one. I want you to tell the person at your table, how much money, time, and energy is distraction costing you? How much money, time, and energy is distraction costing you? Now, before you do this, my sales team has a very specific time frame they operate on. We typically meet every morning at 8:15 till 9 a.m., and that's coaching with me. They have already watched 6 segments of my online academy before they get to work. I do not want them getting to work, watching training, going and getting 3 cups of coffee, talking about the day. Then they get cranked up about 9:30. Then they prospect for an hour. Then it's, oh, hey, it's almost lunchtime, right? Like, here's the deal. I gave them a schedule. 8:15 we meet till 9 a.m. and I'm going to coach you. 9 o'clock, we go straight to our positions like everybody is today, and we focus on everybody doing their job. There's no distractions. They ain't talking to each other. The sales team needs to be doing what? Jaylene, what do they need to be doing? Selling. From 9 to 11, they're doing nothing but focused on one thing, new money. The AR person is collecting money. The stages person is trying to get me on stages or doing customer service. COO is running operations. My assistant's doing the scheduling. Like, here's the deal. I said, this is our schedule. This is our time schedule, okay? At around 11:30 somewhere, we break. Eat a little bit of lunch. Hey, nothing heavy. No pasta. Don't go down to Carrabba's and get you the 3-course pasta meal because I want you light, right? Then we come back in the afternoon. We meet again. Now, why would we meet a second time during the day? Why would I meet with my team again at 12:30? To get them excited again, man. All the excitement we had in the morning is already worn off. They made 40 phone calls. They got beat up a few times. Somebody said no. They got rejected. So at 12:30, I try to get them excited again. Does that make sense? Now you say, how could you do that? If it's Brandon, he's got people. He could take his team meeting here in Murfreesboro and put it on a webinar and say every day at this time, I'm on here for 20 minutes. Because I have seen the need to re-enthuse people. Like, it's not me teach Timothy everything I know. Many times my job is what, Adam? Just keep Timothy excited. Just keep him motivated. Just keep him going. So 12:30 we meet again. From 1 to 3:30, guess what we're doing again? New money. New money, new money, new money. Salespeople are selling. Now, if you added that up, Richard, at the end of the day, that is only 4.5 hours of selling every day. You may say to me, they should be selling all day long. What's wrong with them? Are they lazy? I believe a person cannot focus with high intensity for that long of a time period. So that's why we go 2 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours in the afternoon, 4.5 hours of prospecting every day. They typically make 80 phone calls. We track it on a phone system that's up here on the board. It's showing how many calls they're making. We record those phone calls. We can go back and coach them on those phone calls. And throughout the day, guess what I'm doing? Coaching them. So I'm going to go over there and say, Lakin, make a call right now in front of me. Let's go through this. Here's how I would explain this different. Okay? They also put their red zone conversions up on the board every day, meaning they come up to the board and say, these are the top 5 people I'm trying to close today. Those are called red zone conversions. Everybody see that? Now, a little football term. I got that from my buddy Hugh Freeze because he was a master at red zone conversions at Ole Miss. Now, when you think about it, 3:30, I'm okay with them talking to each other. I'm okay with them like doing strategy. I'm okay with talking a promotion cycle. I'm okay with meeting. But I don't want all of that to take away from what's the main thing we're trying to do today. Produce revenue. Sell something, right? Like that's the main thing. Like let's not get confused. So I gave my people a schedule that I actually think they appreciate because without a schedule, left to their own devices, what are they going to do? Goof off, mess, not my people, of course. Not any of these people here. But here's my point. Male may be tempted every now and then to do what? Talk. You know why? Because are you a high eye on the disc profile? We know what eyes do. When you study the disc profile, guess what eyes do? They're social beings. So her nature is to talk to people, be friendly with people. So I would come to the office and say, hey, how you doing? Like, what happened last night? Right? Like, what's going on? Then they talk to you for a few minutes. Hey, what's going on? I'm like, Lakin, don't talk to Mel during the work day. Y'all talk to each other after work because Lakin needs to be selling and Mel needs to be handling my schedule. That's how God made her. She's a social being. That's part of the reason I hired her. Everybody see that? But part of that personality style is talking, right? Socializing. And you have to understand that if you don't say, look, we can't do that today. We can't do that right now. This is a call period. She needs to be making sales calls. We need to be selling something. Okay? What she's selling is paying for your salary. Right? Don't bother her during this period. Like this is very important, okay? And I don't want to be a bad guy, but I got to train my people so that there's not distraction. So I want to talk about right now, if I stopped right now, what would you say, how much time you feel like your people are wasting during the day, number one? How much money is that costing you? And what would you do right now if I said class is over? What would you go back and eliminate? Would you add a time schedule? Would you meet with your team more? What would you do right now based on what you've already learned? Take a second and talk about that.